Okay, so it's time that we have a real conversation, okay? About what you ask about living in Mexico. Now, I wasn't going to do any more videos about living in Mexico. I even told someone that I wasn't going to do any more videos about living in Mexico. But I made a list of a guide to figuring out life in Mexico. It includes things like money, washing your hair, finding a black community, living alone. These are some of the things that I experienced while living here. So I think it would be good to kind of run these topics down a little bit. Now, I'm really wanting to utilize this platform to add value to someone's life, okay? I haven't quite figured out how I want to do this. Why? Because I'm not trying to give a play by play of my life as it happens. I like to process things first and then share a lot of times, well, especially to the public. But then also, I'm like, I need to get some content out on this channel, and this is going to help round out and complete the playlist I have about living in Mexico. But truly, I do want to find another topic. However, I've just learned so much here that I've internalized that I think it would be remiss not to share it, and we'll see what happens. So, consider this your guide to figuring out life in Mexico. I'm going to rename the playlist this because at this point on this channel, I mean, I don't think it matters at this point. I think the algorithm's all done with me, so who knows. But yeah, I tried the scripted thing in terms of like creating videos, and I just don't, not for this, not for this. For this, I'm going to go off of the dome, okay? So your guide to figuring out life in Mexico, money. All right. This is coming from a United States perspective. I'm sorry. I just don't understand any other currency. I haven't lived in it like that. But some of these things may apply. Okay. Money, spending, value of a dollar. These are really important things to think about because there's a certain way that your mind shifts. Well, the way that my mind shifts when I moved here that I didn't expect. Actually, it first happened to me when I visited Cancun and Playa del Carmen. So, Cancun and Playa del Carmen are playgrounds, okay? They are not real places, so to speak. Of course, people really live there, but these are tourist attractions, and they're so tourist driven that it almost feels like a little bit unreal to be there. And when you come there as a tourist and you're spending money, and you can easily just get drained or siphoned of your energy in a way that is very uncomfortable. It was really draining for me after that first night out on the strip in Cancun, and really just getting overwhelmed by all the people who come at you for money. You know what I'm saying? And yes, there are beautiful things that they're selling. And yes, you want to take that sample of tequila and that sample of tequila and all of that. But it's like, after a while, it just becomes a lot. So imagine that energy, but a little less intense every day. So I wouldn't say Mexico City's like that, but there are certain parts of Mexico City that, you just got to really understand what you're doing and where you're at. And you have to look at locals to understand how to move. Because if you, and this goes beyond, it's not just like don't flash wads of cash. I mean, who does that? Like, I've never did that anywhere, so I'm not going to do it here. But it's not even about that. It's just about like, one thing is buying a lot of things at a time. Even at Costco, yes, you would see families like doing their hauls and stuff like that. But at the market, I wouldn't really see people like stocking up like that. And really, I had to get out of my American point of view with having this big fridge to fill up and just thinking that I needed all of this stuff, when really a lot of people are just living day to day here and around the world. Because I lived with somebody who was French, and she did not like a full refrigerator. She just bought what she needed for the day. So I mean, for the day of the week or whatever, but it wasn't like this whole haul type of mindset every time. And that is very, very different than what I experienced before, what I was used to. And so the spending part, there's just no need to spend so much money at one time, right? But at the same time, I notice one thing that I do when I get to a new place. Um, I usually spend a lot of money on takeout and stuff at first when I first get there because I just I just don't feel like cooking. So, this is my calm Buddha tea, by the way, with a splash of apple cider vinegar and no honey because my good honey is with my sister, and I hope she's using it and enjoying it because dang, that was some good honey. So, yeah, I'm kind of living minimally in this way, but I'm also paying for convenience right now. And I realize there's something to that because it's like paying for convenience is kind of good. It's kind of good for ADHD. I'm not gonna lie. It helps the brain so much just to know there's so many things I don't have to worry about. But anyway, I'm off on a tangent. Let me go back to my list here. So, value of a dollar. This is something that you'll really have to wrap your mind around because the value of a dollar is many different things. There's the US dollar and there's the peso, and they don't match. So if you earn in dollars and you spend in pesos, you can easily, if you don't have your pesos to dollars conversion app ready, because this is not math I can do in my head, you just may not know. Also, like a situation happened to me the other day where I went to um, this chicken soup place. If you know, you know. And there's a couple of locations, and one is a lot better than the other. So I went to the one that I didn't know. Like, I was like, this looks a little different. It wasn't the location that I know was the good one. And honestly, the chicken was like super hard. I didn't eat the chicken. But, I mean, everything was just kind of flavorless. It's just like, dang, man, I don't know what's going on today. And so I ended up, um, they charged me more. Like, so I was sitting here and I said, do you take cards? And he's like, no. And I'm just like, okay, but I guess this really is a different location. And finally, I didn't have enough pesos on me. So I was like 35 pesos short. And so I went up to, he was like pointing at the terminal that was like up at the little, banister thing. And I was just like, okay, so I thought you didn't take cards. So I go over there to pay, and now it's like 30, it's like 15 pesos more. And I'm just like, huh? And I'm trying to explain it to him, and then people start gathering around, and they're all like, trying to understand what's going on. And I'm just like, no, I ordered from that menu over there because he's referring to that menu up there. And I'm just like, look, I paid that much. You told me it was 120 over here. How's 135 over here? Like that don't make sense. And so he's just like, um, pointing to the menu. And so another guy comes over and he's like, oh, it's this menu. Like, he's saying it in Spanish, but he goes and gets the menu that I ordered from. And he's like, first of all, he was also trying to charge me for chicken breast, which is more than the chicken leg, which is what I got in my soup. And I'm just like, what is going on? So this guy understood what was going on. He was like, listen, the menus are different. I was like, oh, okay. And the other guy was like, oh, okay. So he already had charged me the 135 pesos on my card. And so somebody gives me like the pesos in cash, and that's fine. First, they only tried to give me 10 pesos back. And I was like, no, quince, which is 15. And I'm just like, look, see, that's 35 pesos is only, well, quince pesos is like less than a dollar, I think, maybe. It wasn't about that, man. The value of a dollar. It was the principle of the thing. It was the principle of the thing. Like, after a subpar meal, and I was really hungry too, but I was satisfied. I was just like, this is enough because I just needed some sustenance in my body. I wasn't like, like famished. I just hadn't eaten in hours, which is very ADHD of me. And I'm just like, yo, I just like, you're not gonna like give me subpar food and then also overcharge me. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, I don't care if it's just a few dollars. Like, no. So I'm gonna fight for my rights. I'm gonna stand up for myself. I'm gonna speak up. And like afterwards, like we laughed because again, it's just a chill place. But like in the moments, like we gotta understand what's really happening here. Like we gotta make the math make sense. So this is just something that you'll start to value even less than $1. Like you'll value it because it's still money. It's still the principle of the thing, and it's still your energy at the end of the day. So I was told that I should try to keep my videos to less than 5 minutes. This video is over 10 minutes, and I'm not going to edit it, but at least it's headed in that direction of being shorter, more digestible, and in keeping with serving my ADHD community, which you don't have to have ADHD to enjoy these videos and get value out of them, but it's just about, I need to probably like be more concise anyway. So that's where we'll stop today when talking about money, spending, and the value of $1 when it comes to living in Mexico. Figuring out life in Mexico. There's so many things that you just have to figure out as you go. Man, don't even get me started on eating out and dining out. I talked a little bit about it before, about the whole pizza thing, but let me tell you, it goes so much deeper than pizza. Food is very, very serious. Anyway, that's not even next on the list, but I will talk about that. I'll add it to the list so that hopefully I can get to it before end of the year. So enjoy. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. You know what? Go ahead and subscribe because I'm going to bring you over to a new channel. We're going to start fresh eventually, but today we're still here. So subscribe, like, follow, just be a part of this disparate community that is still valuable because you're a part of it. Like, honestly, let me just go off on another little tangent. I don't like the idea of downplaying when there's a small amount of people liking something. To be honest, I don't want to be a part of the crowd necessarily. So if I'm one of the few supporters of somebody else's stuff and they're like a small creator in whatever way, you better not talk about how nobody's looking at your stuff, because I'm like, so who am I? You know what I'm saying? Like, am I nobody? I know that's not what you're saying. So be grateful and appreciative of what you have. So I'm appreciative of you. I'm appreciative even if you just got something out of this video. Just let me know. Anyway, buenas noches, and I'm going to shut it down for tonight.